Hey everyone, I'm Jay Rodriguez, and this is Vibe with Pride. Every month I sit down with a different LGBTQ plus artist who's making an impact in music. It's my little partnership with San Diego Pride, and if you haven't already done so, please click the subscribe button on Facebook or the like button subscribe on YouTube, like on Facebook, because we want you here for these Vibe with Prides, which again happen once a month. This week's guest, there we go, is an internationally known pop star originally from South Africa, but he actually won an international franchise talent show called Popstars. He's a Latin ballroom champion, worked as an underwear model for one of the biggest LGBT underwear brands in the world, Andrew Christian. He's also made such an impact in music. I'm so moved by all his songs. They make me want to dance, get a boyfriend, sing, you name it. So you know what? It's enough of me talking. Let's get into the vibe right now with this week's guest, Lyle Anthony. Stick around. All right, here he is. Let's bring him in. Lyle Anthony.
What's up, beautiful people? How are
First
you?
of all, I love that you got the memo about wearing blue today.
Come on, Blue.
Hey, let's jump right in. This is Vibe with Pride. You are an out pop star. What is your favorite thing about performing in front of LGBTQ audiences?
I think the biggest thing for me is that LGBTQ plus audiences really love the art of music. I mean, if you're in with the gays or like the LGBTQ plus crowd, you essentially have a career. I mean, they did it for Lady Gaga, Lil Nas, all of these. They're thriving because of the gay community. So
I honestly, that is so real. Like if you make it with the queer community, you are so in. But you're originally from South Africa. So what was the biggest culture shock moment when you moved to the US? What was something that you were like, oh my God, why do they do that here? That is so weird.
Do you want to know the biggest culture shock? The killing of black men. So one of my first experiences was George Floyd, and I was like, what?
I'm so glad you brought that up.
WTF.
Yes, no, I'm so glad you brought that up because we're gonna touch on that later in the interview because you are from South Africa, which has its own history of racism and bias, and so we're gonna put a pin in that because we're gonna come back to that. Let's take things back just a little bit because you blast on the scene for many people on Popstars. Now, for those people who may not be aware of what that show is or what it's like to be on a huge talent show, share with us what that show was and what your experience was being on a televised talent show like that.
So I think I was a lot younger. I think I was like 22 years old, and it was a franchise that I loved. I knew a lot of the artists who had won previously. I know Nicole Scherzinger, Eden's Crush, Girls Aloud, all of that. So to be a part of that franchise was definitely something that was revered. And winning it, it definitely changed my life. I just wish that it was in the time of Instagram, and I don't even think Facebook was out back then.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
But yeah, other than that, I think it definitely propelled me into being the artist that I am. Yeah, that's the long and short of that answer.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna get into your music in just a little bit. Speaking of how things began, but you were signed with BMI, and you even performed at the 2010 World Cup. Right. What was that like for people like me who may never get that opportunity?
Listen, we're never gonna say we'll never have that opportunity because in a blink life can change. But I think for me, being on the same stage as like Black Eyed Peas and like seeing will.i.am and Fergie and people that I've revered and looked up to in the industry for a long time, and being on the same stage as them, yes, I might not have been making the same money as them, but being in that same space, the crowd being so accepting of who we are as pop stars and all of that kind of stuff, it was definitely one for the books. Something that definitely changed my life, my performance, my onstage presence, all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a magical moment.
What an amazing gift and moment you have in your life to look back on. I swear this question is going in somewhere, but did you play any sports growing up?
So, and that's the funniest part. I was a sportsman all of my life. So I come from a very sporty family. In high school, I know what you guys, it's high school, right? You guys call it high school here.
Yeah.
I was sportsman of the year.
What do you call it?
Yeah, high school.
Okay.
Yeah, but you guys have different kind of like levels and names and kind of things. However, in high school, I was sportsman of the year twice in a row, 2 years in a row consecutively. I come from a very sporty family. My dad coaches the South African table tennis team. He heads up like the Olympics and all of that when it comes to ping pong table tennis. All my family members, my brother was all around.
Got it. And did you win any trophies? I mean, it sounds like you were like.
Oh, did I win trophies, honey?
So wait a minute. You winning all those trophies, is that how you became an Andrew Christian model and a trophy boy at that?
You know, the trophies just followed me all through my career. And then I now strip down to nothingness and show off these. You know.
Yes. Speaking of which, actually, Alex, can you cue up that tape? Don't play it yet, but I want to show you something in a minute. But I'm going to ask you a question
loud.
First. So you and I have a lot in common. We both like being in our skivvies on social media every now and again. I mean, I need to get your workout plan, but have you always felt comfortable like being somewhat nude for people to see? Because it took me a while to kind of get comfortable in my skin.
Right. I think for the most part, I wasn't comfortable even telling people that I was gay for a very long time, and through my Popstar years and all of that kind of stuff. So in my own skin, absolutely not. So we'll start there. Also, I was not the size that I am today. Not that I'm this massive like guy. However, if I tell you that I was this skinny, like, yeah, I was super skinny for a long time. I mean, you know, that's a different kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. However, I was. Yeah.
No, listen.
I was a skinny boy for a long part of my life, but once I embraced myself and embraced my skin, fell in love with the gym. Yeah, here we are.
I love it. Well, I have a little video message that I wanted you to see while we're on the topic of you and in your skin and in your undies. Let's have a look.
Hey Lyle, Andrew Christian here. I just wanted to tell you how proud of you I am with your new album, your new single, and the new video is phenomenal. I can't wait to see what you do next. And of course, as always, love wins, baby.
Oh, that's so cute.
He adores you.
I honestly have learned, I adore him as well. Andrew has definitely been a great pillar of somebody that I can look up to. He's definitely been on my side for a long time. So I really do appreciate it. Even winning the 2019 Trophy Boy, I remember as a young gay South African boy that always dreamed of living in LA, I wanted to be an Andrew Christian model. And it was something that I was able to check off the list. So
yeah, and you know it's so funny. The brand is so big and colorful and loud, and he's actually pretty quiet and shy. So,
right.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of the models too. All right, so it's time for our question of the day. Let's throw that up here. Here's the question of the day. What was a dream that you maybe you didn't think that you could achieve that you actually did? So that's for you, our viewers. So go ahead and throw yours in the comment section. Maybe it's, I didn't think I could graduate college and I did. I didn't think I'd be able to get through whatever and I did. Throw those in the comment section. We'll get to those at the end of our conversation, but I tossed that to you, Lyle, what's something that you were like, oh, I don't know if that is going to happen for me, and then it did, or maybe something you really did think was going to happen, but it actually happened.
Right. I think for me right now, living out the dream of actually being able to have completed my first EP, which is going to become my album because the songs are so good. And I think me and my producer are ready to extend on that. So I think after Popstars, I ran away. It's a whole, we'll get into that, the story of it. I kind of escaped that life and I worked in cruise ships for years and years and years as a guest singer. And I never ever thought that I'd have the opportunity of ever doing my own work again, my own EP, my own album, my own writing, my own music, and my own songs, just because I'd given up on a huge part of that. And here I am living it and loving it. So, yeah.
Love it. I love it. All right, it's time for the deep dive vibe here on Vibe with Pride. All right, so this past year, this is where we go a little deeper. You know, we kind of touched on a little bit, but this year has been really rough, not just with the pandemic, but also as our country is finally talking about issues surrounding race. You're from South Africa. You touched on it earlier with how our country has long history of systemic racism. Have you personally experienced bias or racism in your own life?
I mean, growing up as a mixed race, a black guy, absolutely. I feel like in South Africa, we definitely have overcome a large part of that racism because there's no space for a Karen to exist in our world. They'll be locked up, keys thrown away, you'll lose your livelihood, all of those kind of things. Does racism still exist within our space and in a country that is predominantly black? Absolutely. But moving here, where the country is predominantly white, and you're experiencing these kind of deep rooted systemic racist acts of violence and all of that kind of stuff, it's definitely shaken my world a lot, and I've definitely experienced a lot more racism living in America than I have in my own country, and that's something really.
That is wild. When you first heard the news of George Floyd and got to experience something like, I mean, that for a lot of people, even though this is something that's been going on for, you know, as long as we've been a nation, I'm sure,
right,
with cell phones and videos, for a lot of people, they were having their own epiphanies and awakening to something that, you know, communities have long known about, but it was new information for people. So when you saw it all go down, and as an artist who does share their thoughts and their artistry, which is part of our experiences, we share these things. I mean, what was that moment like for you when we were living through just the beginning stages of that?
Right. So first of all, I was broken by the news of George Floyd, all of that kind of mess and that violence towards black men and black people in America. I think I was really, really taken aback. I was broken. I was, for a large part of 2 weeks, I was like, I felt robbed moving to this country where it's free and fair and all of these kind of things, the land of the free. And, you know, I definitely was like, okay, so we're getting to see this real America, but also it took COVID-19 and that outbreak to really get people to stop in their tracks and to see what is really going on, you know? So definitely, it definitely shook me quite a bit.
I will say that's really, I agree with that, because I think we all had nowhere to go. We had to sit at home and sit with our feelings and our thoughts. And, you know, as horrible as the pandemic was and continues to be, there was also an opportunity for like some change within ourselves, you know. And
absolutely.
All right, so I'm going to move forward, but coming up, we're going to have a Q&A with Lyle in just a little bit. So if you have some questions for Lyle Anthony as we go along, feel free to throw those in the comment section and we'll get to them.
Ask anything.
Yes, ask him anything. He says nothing's off limits. All right, now it's time for What's Your Vibe? All right, Lyle. So here's some couple little questions that we like to ask. Just, you know, little things about Lyle that people out there, maybe they don't know. Just a quick little silly game. So Lyle, when it comes to snack food or snacking in general, are you savory or more of sweet?
Ooh, I'm definitely more. I think a bit of savory and sweet.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
A
little.
good balance. A good balance.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha. How about early mornings or a night owl?
Night owl.
Yeah. I think it's just entertainers vibes. Like we're so used to working late at night.
Right.
Yeah. So you were an underwear model,
Mm-hmm.
briefs or jock straps?
Chalk straps, simply for the fact that there's no any. I mean, yeah, chalk straps. I'm not gonna go further into that.
There's no there's no and it's
Right.
not identical.
Right.
Okay. We're gonna move on. All right. So I have a question. This is not, I'm speaking on behalf of myself and not necessarily
Okay.
representing San Diego Pride. I remember David Beckham, this is just an underwear model question. When David Beckham did like the Calvin Klein ad, everyone asked if underwear models wear something that is like or is it just you in underwear and then photo taken?
I mean, it definitely depends on the photo shoot and what it's requiring. However, for the most part, just yeah. And I think I think too, it's always encouraged for some models to have, and because of Instagram and all of that, they don't want to see the dick
A
print.
modesty little covering thing, kind of like a mullet.
Right. But
right.
not for me. I don't particularly love wearing that, but yeah.
Gotcha. I was just curious, and I know you were
Yeah.
too, so don't pretend like you weren't, viewer. Okay.
Yeah, no.
I want us to give a big shout out to our replay crew. If you're watching this after it was live, we see you and we appreciate you as well. So you're a singer, Lyle, and when you do live shows, do you like a headset microphone or a handheld mic?
Handheld microphone.
I agree. This is fun and all, but I like this. Yeah. Okay, and this is the last one on what's your vibe. What is one adjective or descriptive word that your besties would all say describes you best?
Life of the party, honey.
Are you the one who turns the party?
I mean, I definitely bring the vibe.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
You're at the best place for it.
Let's
get into the final vibe. All right, so now the final vibe is all about your music. Now, your music is self-described as having an Afro-pop vibe. Can you describe that for people who maybe that's new language for them?
Right. I mean, simply put, if you look at Beyonce's Black is King, a lot of that was Afro-pop, essentially Afrobeat, all of that kind of stuff. I think my love for pop music, because it is an extensive love, it's something that I've grown into. And then my love for being an African and a South African. And I think representing that on a large scale, there's so many American pop artists and all of that, but there's a lot of Afro pop South African representing Black male singers, Black gay male singers anyway. So yeah, that Afro pop is my style, my vibe. It's a part of my aesthetic, my look, all of that kind of stuff. And it's something that I think America is being introduced to on a large scale, especially since Black is King and all of that kind of stuff. And I think it's a growing market too. So I want to be on the forefront of that. So
yeah, no, and you certainly are with your songs, My Forever and Love Wins. They talk a lot about love as it relates to you and your life and the celebration of that. Can you remember the first time that you fell in love?
Can I remember? Yes, I can. I actually can remember the first time I fell in love. Yeah, because I mean, also like it. Looking back, was my first relationship falling in love, or was I just kind of? That's why I was kind of making sure that I.
Me too. That's what I
said
thought
the right
too.
thing.
I had to think about it because as we get older, I look back just the way you did, and I'm like, I thought I was in love, but was that the first time I was really in love? I get that.
Right. Yeah, and I was still there. I was still closeted, dating my first boyfriend, all of that, and it took a lot for me to. So was I in love, or was it me finding my love?
Right.
Okay. And this love, yeah.
So let's talk about the songs My Forever and Love Wins. I mean, I love one of the things that's very easy to understand with you as an artist is you have so much joy in your music. That was the thing. I was talking with our team, Alex, Fernando, and Gardenia, and you're just an artist that when you listen to the music, you're like, oh my God, it brings me joy. And then when you see the videos, you're like, oh my God, the artist is feeling the joy. Is it a conscious thing for you that you're like, it's almost like to watch and listen to your music, it's like you're blessing us.
I appreciate that, and I'm glad that it comes across, because essentially that's really what my music is about. A lot of people moving here think that I've been in the industry like just for a few years now. I've actually been in the game for at least 15 years now, pursuing this thing. And so I've evolved definitely as an artist, and living in this truth. I always say to my friends now that are pursuing this dream, I'm like, what are you in this? Where do you find yourself, and what does your music represent? And I feel the Afro-pop love vibe is definitely where I'm at right now. If it changes in the future, all of that kind of stuff, you know, I'm always open to that. However, right now, that's who I am and represent. My album /EP, I don't know what it is right now, is called The Love Project. And it's definitely all in that vibe. There's a song called I Deserve, which is my next single. It's gorgeous, just deserving of love, deserving of being free, all of that kind of stuff. There's a song called Bless Up, which is just giving thanks and just like, you know, being in that space of love, being blessed for loving who you are, you know, to the core and deeply. And then there's another song, I Deserve, was also dedicated to my late brother that I lost in February. So, and then there's another one called Worlds Collide, which is also, it's a vibe, and I'm really, really excited and looking forward to.
I love it. Listen, Beyonce has Dangerously in Love, Crazy in Love, Drunk in Love. I mean, listen, there's a lot of songs to appreciate about love. But let's talk about your visual style, because looking at your videos, you definitely have a clear and focused aesthetic. It is bright. It feels very much like elements of your heritage are woven in. You know, it's very happy and joyous. And when it comes to the writing of the songs, when you're writing, do you already visualize what you think the video is going to look like?
I mean, it takes me some time for sure, but once I listen to the song over and over again, I kind of get the picture and the vibe, and then start putting things together. And sometimes it's not exactly how I want it, and things need to change. The Love Wins music video actually changed. I was supposed to shoot it just before, a day before, on the 17th of February, a day before things happened with my brother. So I had to cancel all of that, cast everything. And then when I came back from South Africa, I reevaluated the whole thing. And even that experience definitely changed me as an artist, I feel like. And that's the representation of the music video, and Love Wins. And regardless of what we're going through, regardless what we're facing, if love can be the center and the pinnacle of it, we win.
I love it. And when it comes to you performing all around the world, what are some of your favorite cities and why? I'm assuming you want to start with San Diego. Just kidding.
Well, okay, we're gonna start with San Diego. We gotta have you at San Diego Pride. Right? That's what I said. However, on a larger scale, because I always want to think large, and everything along the way is definitely just stepping stones for. I want to be able to perform on a large scale back in South Africa for a huge Pride event. I think we're obviously that, you know, they say start at home, and that is a place that I love and adore. Cape Town is the most beautiful city in the world. However, San Diego for sure. I want to be able to do places like Mykonos and Barcelona and New York and like London Pride. I want to be able to be that global, and I know that I believe that my music is that, you know, well, if you think of London, they're listening to Afro-pop music all the time, those Afro beats and all of that kind of stuff. But it's just, you know, infiltrating and getting in there. And
okay, Lyle, tell the kids where they can follow you. I mean, it's in the chat section now. We have included your socials and links to all your music videos, but go ahead and remind them again.
Hey kids, if you want to see all the thirst traps You can find me on LyleAnthonyOfficial on Instagram. So it's LYLE Anthony Official. Instagram. On Twitter, it's LyleAnthony_USA. And then I've got a Facebook page, which is Lyle Anthony as well. So check it out. DM me. Let's chat.
Well, listen, we've got some questions. Let me just go ahead and get to some of these questions from you. And by the way, if you didn't get to put a question for Lyle, you can ask anything he says. Go ahead and throw that right now in the comment section. But I'm going to get to the ones I see. I saw some really good one. Well, let's start with the easy ones. Russell Steven asks, how are you guys doing today? I'm good.
How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing?
All
right, let's see here. Okay, so, this is a good one. Janelle McCree asks, how is Pride celebrated in South Africa? Your South African accent is just beautiful.
Thank you so much, Janelle McCree. I appreciate that. Pride is definitely celebrated in South Africa a lot better and a lot more differently than it used to be. I mean, I think for the first time they had a Soweto Pride, which is a southwestern township. I know Soweto is very widely known. That's where Sarafina and all of those kind of movies were shot. So for the first time, there was a Soweto Pride, which is major. So I think we're definitely on the right track in terms of celebrating our pride and being gay and fabulous, and just here we are, and we're not going anywhere.
I love it. You have another question. Yeah. This is coming from DJ. They're asking, your songs often are about love. Are you in love now? And are you off the or are you off the market? Sorry about that. Are you in love or are you off the market?
I mean, I'll just keep you guessing. Just keep you guessing. That is the
sign of a true pop star. Just keep them guessing. Yes.
Right? You don't want to reveal everything. I mean,
gotta have something.
Yeah, no. However, there's somebody that I do love. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Well, there's another question here. This one's from, it's a Jai Rodriguez. When are you going to have Jay Rodriguez in one of your music videos? I don't know where that came from.
When he is not busy traveling the world and being fabulous. When he can sit down in one place.
Yes, you are so incredible. Thank you so much for what you're doing right now. It's interesting because you're going to have so many people who are young people who are going to look at you and believe some things are possible that they never knew were possible just by being your most authentic self and blessing us with the music the way you have. I want to thank today's guest, Lyle Anthony, and all of you people watching out there. You are viewers for continuing to support Vibe with Pride and San Diego Pride. For more information about San Diego Pride or to make a contribution, please visit sdpride.org. I'm Jay Rodriguez, and you've been watching Vibe with Pride. Remember, no matter how you vibe with Pride. See you next time. Bye.